the representatives of other African countries who are here present, the citizens of the United States of America who have already identified themselves as being active not only in Tanzania, but in different parts of Africa, the Tanzanians who are present in this assembly this evening, and the other Africans who have also taken time to be in this assembly at an event which was scheduled to start at 6:30. But for some reason, I started at 9. Although I'm a guest, it is important that we indict ourselves. One of the things that will make Africa great is to recognize that all of us have only 24 hours in a day, and how we utilize time is what differentiates the first world, the second world, and the third world. And therefore we have every reason to apologize to our guests. Part of the reason why we come to this part of the world is to draw positive lessons so that we can energize the continent of Africa. The United States of America provides a home for many Africans who are highly qualified. And it gladdens my heart that although you have taken time and you have sacrificed to be outside of the continent of Africa, you have not forgotten that you have a mother country called Tanzania. Tanzania is a country that has been dear to my heart, because as a young man, I had the honor and privilege of working with the late Mwalimu Julius Kambarage Nyerere when he founded his foundation. I'm also glad to have been in distinguished Mwalimu Kambarage Nyerere lecturer at the University of Dar es Salaam in the year 2014. And I'm also glad that many of the things that Mwalimu stood for define Africa in a manner that will, in the not too distant future, also define Africa. I remember so very fondly in those formative years of Tanzania when Mwalimu was in the forefront of the struggle for the liberation of many of the South African countries, such as South Africa, Zimbabwe, Angola, and Mozambique. He was as passionate as he was eloquent in reminding us that the independence of Africa could only be complete if all the other African countries were liberated. And he was eloquent in reminding us that it was incumbent upon all of us to always remember that Africa can only be great if our sons and daughters took time to serve her. He said so very eloquently in Kiswahili, siri ya maendeleo ni watu, ardhi na siasa safi. And there is a sense, therefore, in which those of you who are in the diaspora are giving meaning to the words of Mwalimu. Tanzania stands unique amongst many African countries. It is the same Mwalimu who said in 1985 that a leader is not successful until his successor succeeds. and that leadership is a relay race. And Tanzania is one of the few African countries where we have seen successive generations of leaders come and go, so that you can talk of Mwalimu being the founder of Tanzania. He handed over the baton to Mzee Mwinyi. Mzee Mwinyi handed over the baton to Benjamin William Mkapa. Benjamin William Mkapa handed over to Jakaya Mrisho Kikwete, and Kikwete in turn to John Pombe Magufuli. And there is a sense in which that reservoir of leaders serves as a testament to those who doubt that Africans have the capacity and the ability to change leadership democratically. And it underscores the fact that Africa has both the intellectual wherewithal and the economic ability to lift herself from the quagmire of poverty into the hard ground of economic prosperity. Those of you who are present here this afternoon or this evening will agree with me that there is a sense in which even if we are outside of the continent, we can never afford the luxury of forgetting the continent. We are here, therefore, to remind ourselves that home is always best. We are here to remind ourselves that we owe our kith and kin in the continent of Africa. We are here to remind ourselves that we can never cut the umbilical cord that links us with the mother continent. We are here to celebrate our unity in diversity. And that is how I understand this assembly this evening. Several years ago, in the year 1906 to be exact, a great American, or a great South African rather than American, whom we seldom talk about, and is one of the founders of the African National Congress, Pixley Kaisaka Sen, delivered a great speech at the University of Columbia titled The Regeneration of Africa. In that great speech, he reminded the Africans at that time that the continent not only demanded but required that her sons and daughters must never forget her. This evening, without delivering a long speech, I want to remind us, whether we are Tanzanians or Ghanaians or Nigerians or Kenyans or Cameroonians or Ethiopians or Eritreans or Gambians or Beninois, that our continent is always calling us. We must remind ourselves that geography may never prevent us from remembering that Africa is the land of opportunity. It gladdens my heart that an American has taken time and takes time every year to go into the inner sanctum of Tanzania in Monduli to attend to the needs of young mothers and young children. These are friends of goodwill whose presence in our midst must be praised and celebrated at once. It gladdens one's heart to recognize that although today we are assembled here to celebrate Tanzania, Rwandese are here, Kenyans are here, Ugandans are here. It is informed by the realization and the recognition that our diversity is our strength, not our weakness. And if we recognize that our diversity is our strength, then I want to remind us that there is nothing that we cannot achieve. You know, many times when I see young Africans running away from mother continent to look for the greener pastures, I tell myself that perhaps the grass is greener in Africa, but we just don't see it. Oh, we are colorblind. But going forward, we must remind ourselves that wherever we are, Africa is our land. Whatever we do, Africa is our continent. Wherever we want to go, ultimately we must go back to Africa. Mwalimu was right when he said in Kiswahili that the future of Africa lies in our young men and women. The old people who are here, when I look in the room, I see young people, and I say that we now have the young suckers that will grow when the old bananas die. Mwalimu was right when he said in Kiswahili, siri ya maendeleo ni kuwa na vijana wenye malezi bora, siha njema na bongo kali. Wa Tanzania, katika hafla ya jioni, si jambo la busara kuzungumza kama chiriko aliyekunywa maji ya chooni. Kwa hivyo mtaniruhusu nikome hapo. Ninawapongezeni sana na nina hakika ya kwamba mtatumia fursa hii na fursa zijazo kuhakikisha kwamba mmehamasisha Watanzania na Waafrika ambao wako katika bara hili la Amerika. Afrika inatuhitaji sisi sote, na nina hakika ya kwamba tuna uwezo, tuna nia na tuna lengo la kuhakikisha kwamba bara letu limeboreshwa. Swahili wasema mwenda omo na tezi marejeo ni ngamani. Wanasema pia mtaka cha uvunguni shati ya inani, na pia wanasema atafutaye hachoki, akichoka keshapa. Asante.
Asante sana, asante sana. I need a bigger hand of applause. I'd like to call on Mr. Sego on behalf of our embassy in the United States of America and my president here, Mr. Everest Makasula, to present this award. Professor Lumumba, we honor you. You inspire us, and I'm sure everybody in this room will walk away and try to fulfill what you started, the dream you started. I want to believe I'm speaking for everybody here, that we will continue that long after you're gone. But we should live long, but still, you have planted the right seeds. That's cool.
Another round of applause, please. Another round of applause. Round of applause, please. Prof, thank you so much for your lecture. I call it a lecture because I learned a lot. Thank you so much. Are we hungry? Yeah. Are we hungry? I'm hungry. I don't know about you. So we're going to the next item, which is food. And they say we're going to have Tanzania food today. I'm excited about it. I haven't tasted this type of food. So tell us about the menu for tonight. I'm going to be calling on Dema Olori again. Round of applause for her to step on the stage to tell us about the menu. I'm going to listen attentively because I'm excited about it. Round of applause.
Well, I know that most of you have already started eating the main course, but I'm here to just tell you a little bit about what we have or have had today. We started off with a lovely salad that has some fruits in it and some pecans. And then we also, for the entree, we had the tamarind chicken on a bed of rice and some lovely greens that we call chicha back home. And then later on we'll follow that up with a dessert. That is a surprise, which you guys will find out shortly. But thank you so much for being with you guys and enjoying the meal.
Thank you so much. Round of applause for her. Trust me, as she was talking about the food, I was salivating. I need to eat my taste bud. So, we're going to take a little break right now.
Of course,
we can enjoy our food, and we'll convene after a short while. Thank you very much.
It's a good thing.
So while we're enjoying our meal, I'm going to call on stage Eve Kirigiti to give us an amazing performance while we enjoy our food. Round of applause for her, please. Round of applause. It's not easy to come on stage, trust me.
No, like, it's probably fast. Well, he is already, I don't know. We're guessing.
Really large. Yeah. About 20,000 employees. It's a big company. Yeah.
But when you come up here,
I make up the scene in your job.
I know, right? Just like Jochi, please. Can you delete that part? Yes, but this video of this food is amazing.